Tell me the truth. Don't lie. If someone came to you tonight and said, borrow one day from your future and all your problems today will disappear, would you ask questions or would you say yes before they even finish the sentence? Be honest, because that answer is where the story begins. This is not a story they tell in a hurry. This is the kind of story you hear and keep inside your pocket. It is about a man who borrowed tomorrow and discovered that tomorrow is not something you return. There are people who borrow money, there are people who borrow clothes, but there are some people who borrow time. This is the story of one of them. In the small town of Ajife, where the sun rose early and people slept late because NEPA had no respect, lived a man called Bamidele. Bamidele was poor. He was not lazy, he was not foolish, he was not wicked. He was just poor in a very committed way. Not the kind of poor you post online and still look fresh. The original kind. The kind of poor where rain does not ask permission, it just enters. Bamidele's house had one rule. Rain must fall exactly where he sleeps. If he slept facing the wall, rain followed. If he turned his back, rain adjusted. People said rain knew his location by heart. His mattress was so thin that when he lay down, the floor greeted him. Welcome, O, the floor would say. His slippers were thin like they had been fasting and older than some children in the village. When he walked, the road already knew his footsteps. He didn't have to do too much. Even his roof leaked so much that during the rainy season, even the mosquitoes carried umbrellas. He worked from morning till evening, yet his pocket always whistled when he opened it. Food in his house was motivational, soup with no substance. There was a day his wife stirred the pot for 10 minutes. Inside the pot was water and confidence. Still, Bamidele laughed easily. He sang while sweeping. He greeted everyone. Good morning, no, Ekaro, even when it was clearly not good. He had a wife who endured, a mother who prayed, a child who played with imagination. When hunger came, he and his family turned it into jokes. Are we hungry? No, we are not hungry, the boy would say. We are just waiting for later. Later really came. In the village, people were not wicked, but they were also not kind towards one another. Everyone had their own problems, and like some would say, to your tent, O Israel, others would say, everyone are on their own, or yo. So when Bamidele suffered, people laughed gently. He go better, they said. He did not better, oh. Suffering had become normal entertainment. One night, after eating gari that was more air than grain, hunger escorted Bamidele to bed. He lay on his leaking side beside his wife and whispered in the dark, if only tomorrow could help me today. That was when silence entered. Not peaceful silence, listening silence. It was like a trance immediately. Wind knocked and entered the room without waiting for a response. Not through the door, not through the window, but on his future, through time. A tall, thin man appeared, wrapped in clothes that looked old and new at the same time. His eyes shone like someone who had seen yesterday and tomorrow together. I am Ojogbon, the keeper of days, the man said calmly. Bamidele nearly fainted. Sir, if this is about my debt, I promise I will pay, he said without his wife or son hearing. Ojogbon smiled and offered Bamidele a deal. Bamidele, you may borrow days from your future, one day at a time. Use it to fix today's problems. But each day borrowed will take something precious. Bamidele laughed. Sir, he said, future that hasn't come is already owing me. What's the worst that can happen, more than the worst my family and I are living in now? Bamidele agreed and he and Ojogbon both signed an agreement. Ojogbon said to him, if you agree, then you would have to pluck out some strands of your hair. Bamidele did without hesitating. Afterwards, Ojogbon brought out a sharp pin that looked like a hairpin and handed it over to Bamidele to pierce his thumb himself till he sees a little blood. Then he instructs Bamidele to use the plugged hair to touch the blood, and he presented him a scroll that looked like a modern day tablet and said he should use the blooded hair to sign on the scroll. And Bamidele immediately did as he was told. So both Bamidele and Ojogbon signed an agreement that moment. He later told him how he would borrow his future, that he would knock any door in his house, say some words, and immediately it would open and take him to a sacred place spiritually. And when he gets there, he should pick up a drum, beat it 3 times, and start singing the song 7 times while he dances. The second night, fear and curiosity held hands. Quietly, he did as he was told, and the door opened to the sacred place. The drum lay there, old, strong, waiting. He beat the drum softly, like someone knocking on an elder's door. He beat the drum 3 times, slow and heavy. His voice shook as he sang the borrowing song. "O time that walked before me, hear my voice tonight. I do not steal what is not mine, I only borrow what is ahead. I borrow just 1 day," he whispered, "only to fix my roof. I take 1 day from my tomorrow to mend today that is broken. Let my roof stand, let my name not fall in shame. What I borrow, I will carry. What I carry, I accept. Time that sees the end from the beginning. Open the road for me." He begins to dance, turning slowly. He danced once, twice, 7 times while he sings. He completes the 7th turn, then the drum immediately goes silent. The air waits. That night, rain fell. For the first time in years, he did not enter Bamidele's house. He stared, then laughed nervously. "Ha! So this thing is real," he said. From that night, the ritual grew. He noticed something. When he borrowed 1 day, the drum sounded light. When he borrowed weeks, the drum sounded heavier. When he borrowed months, the drum sounded tired. The song stayed the same, but his heart changed. At first, he sang shyly. Later, confidently. Eventually, like someone placing an order with so much authority. The first borrowed day repaired the roof. The second day, he borrowed another from his future, and food appeared in his kitchen like magic. The third day brought respect. People began to notice. "Bamidele, you are glowing, oh. Your slippers are now very thick." He borrowed another day, then another. Sometimes he borrowed months from his future, and a year, but Ojogbon had told him that he could not exceed borrowing a year in a day. Soon, Bamidele became comfortable enough to forget fear, and borrowing became a habit. When there was a problem, he would borrow a day to fix it. If there was an issue that he thought would bring shame or disrespect to him, he immediately went to the place, picked up the drum, and would beat it and sing the song, say what he wants, and dance 7 times, and it would magically happen. If it was responsibility, he borrowed 2 days. His wife noticed, but Bamidele would clear his throat. "A rich man noticed my hard work and he blessed me. That's why we have everything. He promised to help me small small." His wife would nod, but still would not be convinced. His mother warned him and said, "Bamidele, easy things don't usually stay." Bamidele soon became very wealthy. He moved his family into a bigger space and had his own workers, but he never stopped borrowing his future. Years later, when the village festival that held once in 4 years approached, some of the village elders came to Bamidele's house to meet him. They wanted him to contribute money, goats, and other valuable things. They said, "Ah, Oga Bamidele, other important people from other villages were coming and would also contribute, and some already even contributed greatly towards the festival. It is remaining only you." Bamidele imagined laughter, imagined whispers, imagined torn clothes. He saw this as an avenue to show off, to show that he's an important person. He wanted to make a good impression because he had become wealthy and he didn't want to be ridiculed. That night, he borrowed an entire year from his future. Plenty money appeared, the kind of money that would be enough to share for 10 villages. Clothes appeared, There were a lot of animals that came from him to be slaughtered. At the festival, people greeted Bamidele and his family differently. He shared lands that he had bought for people. One would think he was the king. He gave out a lot of money, a lot of goats, and other animals. People respected him more. Fame became part of his lifestyle, and Bamidele liked it. In fact, he enjoyed it so much. But soon, something changed for him. Funny losses followed. Bamidele stopped enjoying pepper. Food tasted flat. He stopped laughing properly. His laughter came late. Children noticed first and said, Papa Bamidele dey smile, but you know they reach eye. One time at the playground, children played. One particular child fell. Everybody laughed, but Bamidele did not. That scared them. His wife and son complained that he no longer played with them like he used to, and nothing seemed funny anymore. But Bamidele borrowed more days. He could not laugh. When someone cracked a joke, nothing. Another day, he noticed he could not remember his mother and wife's voices. And other days, his legs grew tired easily. Even when he looked at the sunset, he felt nothing. The colors were there, the feeling was gone. Even during celebrations, he wasn't joyful. He forgot songs, he forgot faces, he forgot the joy of sitting idle. His body became tired. He became successful, but empty. His mother noticed he forgot proverbs. She would say, Bamidele, I am your mother. Tell me what is going on. This wealth is asking for something. Bamidele would say, Mama, nothing now. I am making money like my peers are making money. And everyone would act as if everything is normal and okay. One day, his son asked him, Papa, please come and play with me. But Bamidele said, No. His son responded, Papa, tomorrow nko. Bamidele had no answer. That night, he felt so sad that he wanted to be happy again. So he thought to himself that only if he could borrow some days to be happy again. Then, he stood up from his bed. He decided to go to the usual place where he would beat the drum and dance. But on getting there, he met Ojogbon. Ojogbon asked, Bamidele, why are you here? And Bamidele said, I came to my usual place to borrow some time. But this time, I want to be happy. I want to laugh and spend time with my loved ones. Ojogbon looked at him and said, Bamidele, but you have borrowed all your days. Bamidele was surprised. He said, That's not possible. How many times have I even come here to borrow my days? And Ojogbon started counting, and he realized that he had borrowed all the remaining days left for him. He shouted, fell to his knees. I fixed my problems, he cried, but I lost the joy of living. He begged and begged Ojogbon to at least spend time with his family, but Ojogbon refused. He said to Bamidele, You borrowed time, but unknowingly to you, time was also borrowing you too. After so much begging and wailing, Ojogbon said to him, I will give you a moment, a very short moment to spend with the people who care about you. Before leaving, Ojogbon placed something in Bamidele's hand, one unborrowed moment of 24 hours. He said, Make sure you use it wisely. And so Ojogbon went away. Bamidele went back to his family that night. Early the next morning, before the sun rose, he woke his family and spent the whole day with them. He told stories to his family. He laughed and danced with his wife and mother. He even played with his son so much. He had energy to do these things with them. Bamidele used the moment to be present, to laugh, to love, and that moment was heavier than all borrowed days. Later that night, Bamidele called the elders of the village. He called his mother, he called his wife, and his son, and told the entire village the truth. He told them also that every single wealth he had would vanish the moment he dies. Everybody was surprised. They started murmuring to one another. Everybody asked questions why he did that. He said, I wanted to be someone in life. That was why I did it. On the dot of 11, that day, he requested for just water to drink, and his son brought it for him. As he was drinking the water, just a sip choked him. He coughed and coughed till he died. The next day, The beautiful house he and his household lived in, and all the wealth he had amassed with his future when he was alive, turned into ruins and dirt houses. His family eventually left the village out of shame and never returned. Elders told the story to one another and to young people. They ended with the saying, "Tomorrow is not a loan, it is a gift." Dear viewers, problems are inevitable, be it big or small, it is part of life. Some problems are solved with patience, not shortcuts, and makes us wiser and stronger. Borrowing tomorrow can steal today's happiness. Time is not money, it is life. So please let's use it wisely and with our loved ones. Thank you for watching another video on this channel. Thank you for subscribing, and please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please join the family so you can hear more stories like this and better ones to come. And also share with someone that needs to hear this. Thank you and see you next time.